Hello everyone. Welcome to the day 10 of Object-Oriented Programming Basic Concepts in C++. So today we discuss about a very important concept in object-oriented programming, which is encapsulation. Now encapsulation is one of the four pillars of object-oriented programming. First of all, it's not only in C++, it's supported by the languages which support object-oriented programming. The languages include Python, Java, C++, etc. So today we'll only discuss about the encapsulation in the C++ and then we'll discuss about the getter and setter. So encapsulation, by the term you may think that it's a complex term, but believe me, it's a very simple term and you have already used the encapsulation before in your code. When you started writing the object-oriented programming basic codes like creating a class, creating the object of a class, you used the encapsulation, but maybe you didn't know the term encapsulation. Encapsulation, if you observe the word encapsulation, if you if you see a capsule, you can observe that there are some chemical elements bound into a capsule. So you can think in a similar manner. Encapsulation is the process of binding all the data members and methods into a single unit, which is class. So it's nothing but writing the data members and classes in a single class in an organized way. So already you have written the code like this. So this is the encapsulation, and you can think the data members and the methods like the chemical elements, and they are bound into a capsule, which is the class. So it is the encapsulation. It's a very simple, but the term may be a little complex. And it's used to organize our code and to protect further modification of members. Now let's understand this using an example. Then I have written two rules. There are not any rules, but I have written for your convention that first rule and second rule. I'll discuss the second rule later, but at first the first rule, which is for data members, you use private access specifier. Obviously, for suppose you have some data members like age, name, ID, class. Class means class, roll number, etc. But you need not to declare them in public region. Try to declare in the private. Okay, because you know if you write in the private, you cannot modify the data member outside of the class, right? And you can use the protected. If you want to use the member in the derived class of the class, you can use the protected access specifier. But don't use public for data members. Use public for the methods, but don't use public for the data members. Okay, so here you can see I have used protected. You can use the private also, no problem. But if there are any classes derived from the class A, right here, the class B is derived from the class A. So I have written the uh, private protected because in class B I have the direct access of the data member role. Okay. And then in public, obviously in public you declare and define the methods. And now the second rule, which is the use setter and getter functions. Now this is the very important topic, setter and getter function. First of all, there are not any type of predefined function like setter and getter. Many students may confused that the functions have names setter and getter, and if I write setter and getter, they are some the keywords. Not, no, they are not any keywords. They are just the name of some special methods. You can name the method as per your choices, but obviously it's suggested that use the method name like set role, set name, etc. etc. So set role but or setter. Using setter function is set the value. First of all, you declare the data members in private or protected, and then in the public. At first write setter and then write getter. Okay. So first of all, define the setter function. And in the setter function, you have the parameter. And in the parameter, you can name any name. You can give any name. I written here R. You can choose role name, role 2, etc., etc. And if we use the two roles, okay, I'll discuss this in the next video. What happens if we use the same name, right? So here I have taken a parameter which is int r, and then role equals to r, and this role is the data member which is declared in the protected or private region. It will also work if we declare in the public, but don't declare data members in public. Obviously, try to declare in protected or private region, right? And what happens in the set rule or setter function? Okay, in the main function, if we first of all I created an object of the class which is obj, and this is another role. This role has the scope in the main function, and this role is used to take the user input. You can, okay, for your convention I have written role user like this, role user and role user. So, and here also role user. So for this user, suppose user has given the role 2. So set role function in the parameter of the set role 2, the value 2 will be passed. And if we go to the function definition, then we can see the role will be set to R, and R means here role user, and role user the input. Suppose you have given 2, so the role will be now 2. The role means the real function, the real data member which is declared in the class, right? And next, the getter function. Getter function is to print the value simply, and try to give the getter function the return type of the member. Suppose the member role as the data type which is integer, so I have declared the function with the integer return type and then return role. You can also print the get role, print the role using void get role, but it's not suggested. I suggest you to always give the data type of the member of the class. And if we see out the result, which is obj.getRole, and obj.getRole will simply print out the role. Here I have declared another variable res to store the roll number, but you can directly print like obj.getRole. Okay, so if we run the program, first of all, it asks for a roll number, suppose 34. Then your row is 34, and next line your row is 120. So why this 120 hours? I am telling you because here in the protected I have already declared the value 120, and if you see in the main function I have created another object which is obj2, and using display I am printing the value which is the value of the role, but value of the role will be now 120 because I have not assigned any value to the object of the class B. I have assigned the value, but that's the object of class A, not of the class B. So by default, it takes the value which is defined in the class. So thank you. I hope you understood the concept of encapsulation and getter and setter function. On next video, we'll discuss about this pointer. Stay tuned.